Hello everyone, this is Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. I've had a little bit of a break over New Year, which was nice. I felt like I really needed to take a couple of days and a little bit of time out, but I'm back now, and there's so much to read on, viewers, there really is. The government shutdown is getting almost, as you know, to a crisis point. The Democrats are putting forward some legislation to reopen the government. Trump has called them to, and the Republicans, to the White House to talk about border security. He's been quite pathetic over the New Year period. By the way, anyone who chances upon this channel and you're a Trump supporter, keep on going because you have my sympathies, my deepest sympathies, if you still support that man. This channel's not for you, so keep on going. Let's go back to the government shutdown, and then I might do that reading first. Then I'll close down and we'll look at some more of our candidates because, as you know, Elizabeth Warren has announced that she will run for the presidency. So I'll start reading on her, and perhaps Cory Booker and Amy Klobuchar as well. I'll do Joe Kennedy and Sherrod Brown in the next couple of days, and perhaps Kirsten Gillibrand. Lots to read on. I've been reading the comments and the questions. We'll look at voter suppression in whether or not the Democrats are going to investigate, launch any sort of legislation. We'll look at that. We'll look at Donald Trump's deteriorating presidency. We'll also be looking at Mitt Romney, who's come out, as you know, in that op-ed and slammed Trump as well. He was one of the people that I thought might be a future Republican presidential candidate. They might stand Mitt into 2020. So a lot to read on. Including the Mueller investigation. We're in a new year now. We're in the home stretch, if you like. My feeling, as you know, is that Donald Trump would step down later on this year as the Mueller probe reveals startling, shocking details of the collusion, conspiracy and obstruction of justice. But I think also he'll also be looking at the money trail along with the state district courts that are state district attorneys who are investigating various aspects of the Donald Trump presidency, including his inauguration committee. I have a strong feeling around that inauguration that there will be potentially alleged criminality revealed, and I think Ivanka Trump possibly will be caught up in all of that. So to start with, after that introduction, let's look at the government shutdown. Now I want to, just have a look at this in relation to a Celtic cross, so that we can kind of get an indication of what the environment is the pressures in the environment is actually around that shutdown, and a final outcome, potential future conditions. So let's start off with the government shutdown. I did previously a very quick reading which showed that it may be over by about mid-January. That's a long way away, either before or up until the 5th or mid-January. Are we going to see a breakthrough in the government shutdown over the next week or two? We're going to see a breakthrough in the government shutdown in the next week or two. What do we need to know about the US government shutdown? Quite a serious matter. What do we need to know about the US government shutdown? US government shutdown. Okay, so our signifier cup is the king. Our signifier card, is the King of Cups, and this is telling me. So we'll keep this card out because what this is saying is that there's a great deal of healing American politics that needs to be done. One of the things that Mitt Romney was saying, that Trump's presidency has failed because he hasn't been able to forge any sort of unity at all. So the King of Cups is coming forward as the signifier card that the political system, it needs a great deal of healing. It's actually quite dysfunctional. Why is it dysfunctional at the moment? Because of the Trump presidency. It's going to take real leadership to get things back on track. There's a lot of emotion around the shutdown now. It's been increasing in intensity, and there's a lot of ill will. If Trump had any goodwill left, he would have destroyed it by this shutdown. Now, this is the situation at the moment. There is divine discontent, if you like, with the government shutdown. This is the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups comes forward in relation to... it's like this... it's almost like there is, aside from the deep disappointment, there's an apathy around this as well. It's like people are going, you know, how much more have we got to endure? But I see this, the querent, as actually Donald Trump. So he's been offered deals, and look, he's even got his arms crossed. He's been offered the deals which he won't take. I think the government shutdown is a metaphor for the deeper discontent that Trump is feeling, that he knows his presidency is over, and he's got his back to the wall, and he's being stubborn and belligerent about this. But the situation is not all doom and gloom, because something is being offered, and this hand is coming out of, you know, it's the divine hand that's coming forward with I guess, an offer here. So I think, karmically speaking, I don't think the shutdown is going to go on for much longer. I don't see it going on for a month, for example, because there is a proposal that is going to be put to Donald Trump. Okay, the Emperor, and I think this is what is challenging the situation, and it is purely and simply this, viewers. The challenge to the government shutdown is Donald Trump is the president. So I'll let that sink in. This card is in the challenge position. It's it's challenging that position of something being offered, and this disappointment, this bitterness almost of Donald Trump, and this belligerence of Donald Trump. The challenge for the whole situation, the challenge for will the government open anytime soon, is the Emperor card, and the Emperor card is Donald Trump. He is occupying the presidency. That is the challenge to the situation. Now, the foundation of the reading is this Page of Swords, and this is prying open the truth. So it's also indicating communication as well, spoken communication. And, you know, this, as I said, this foundation of the reading is coming forward. He's been listening to Fox News, as we know, and he has taken this stubborn position. However, it's also a little bit more than that as well. This is the card of prying eyes, spying and prying open the truth. There's possibly his actions in shutting down the government again is a distraction from the Mueller probe. And I also felt in my reading before the new year that this could be an indication of how he might be flexing his muscles. Is he trying to take a deal? Look what I can do as president. So there's all these aspects coming forward in this card, viewers. Now, the past. Again, as I thought, this is the Tower card, and this is his ruination and chaos. As he descends into greater ruin and chaos, he's he's actually going to become more reckless. And these things showed up in the readings prior to Christmas and prior to the New Year. He's going down, and he's not going to go down easily. That's what that card is saying. Look, it is what it is, isn't it? We know that Mueller's coming for him. We know that the Republican Party are turning away. We know that, someone like Mitt Romney, who could indeed be a presidential candidate, Mike Pence is sitting there back in the wings, but he's got his own problems. We know that senators are taking Trump on, whereas they wouldn't before. We know that the GOP is waiting for Mueller to do their dirty work for them. We know all that. And Trump is aware of that as well. So he's flexing his muscles. Now, in relation to what's going on at the moment, he is going to be offered something. This is the card of the proposal. So he's going to be offered a deal by the Democrats, potentially the Republicans as well. They're going to get together and they're going to come forward. It's going to be a compromise deal, but it will lead to action, and the action is, opening the government again for business. Now, in the future, there is the strength card. So this is the future, and I really do think that this is the Democrats, and also the Mueller investigation as well. Often that comes forward. The actions of Donald Trump in shutting the government are quite pathetic, as we know, and they display a weakness because he's just being so harshly judged for taking this action. So there's a lot of strength coming forward against Donald Trump, and this is also showing me that there is, in the midst of this chaos, this recklessness, there are institutions within the American political institutions that are stronger than Donald Trump. I read somewhere the other day that Americans and Republicans could get together and pass something and take away Donald Trump's powers of veto on this particular matter. There is strength coming forward there, but my feeling is that there's going to be some sort of compromise, some sort of proposal put to Donald Trump. And, we'll see as we go on with this reading whether he's going to take it. So Donald Trump at the moment, it's, this is this 10 of Wands, and it's carrying burdens, and it's like walking uphill with carrying too much of a load. You're never going to get there. You're going to drop some of the load. You really do need to put the load down. And this is talking about his untenable position that he's boxed himself into. It's going to be hard work for him to have any sort of a win at the moment. And the environment around Trump. Okay, the King of Wands. This is Mueller, I think, and possibly other lawmakers and the courts and the Democrats as well. I said before that that Trump's position is not strong. There's a lot of strength coming at him. He would like to think that he has a strong position, but he hasn't, because the environment around him is greater than him. The King of Wands is the top dog, the bold leader, the courage, and the courage coming through, and the persistence as well. This is someone who's got a lot of power. So the forces around Donald Trump are more powerful than what Trump is. So if you were a betting person, you probably wouldn't be betting on Donald Trump on this one. Hopes and fears. Okay, so the hope, I guess, is that this is the Eight of Cups coming forward, and that's like withdrawal and retreat and moving on. So again, it's the fear, it's the hope of the country that he retreats. It's also the fear of Trump and his supporters that he will retreat. So it's both a hope and a fear, but either way it's withdrawal and loss. So it's not a good basis to be shutting down the government on, as we know. And this is becoming increasingly obvious as we go along, because the eyes of the world are upon America at the moment and upon Trump. And this is, and the powers that be know this, okay, separate to Donald Trump. The actual sane adults in the room know that if this government shutdown goes on for too much longer, then this can cause real trouble. The world is the card of endings and beginnings. Okay, so I think what you will see is that once Trump accepts some kind of compromise position, that really is going to be stronger than him, he will have to withdraw, because the world is the endings and the beginnings. So we thought December was the beginning of the end for the Trump presidency. I think I just have such a strong feeling this is Trump. This is Trump. This is the loss for him. I think that he's not going to win on this. Whatever compromise he takes, he will have to take, because of the strength of the Congress, and the strength of I guess the adults in the room, if you like, and the strength also of sanity, or the government workers who haven't been paid. The union is now taking forward a suit and suing the government for standing down these workers without pay, I guess making these workers, these emergency services, keep working without pay. So there's legal suits going on there as well. But I think really my feeling is around this, that the adults in the room, the forces beyond Donald Trump's presidency are going to be so great that they will ensure that he caves in. I had a feeling today, I wonder what Rupert Murdoch is, the owner of Fox News, I wonder what he's thinking. He has American investments. I wonder what he's thinking in his home in London, as he sees the government in however many days, going weeks now, of its shutdown. What is he thinking? He knows that this is damaging the economy. He knows that Trump's reckless behaviour, as much as Murdoch is the so-called kingmaker, he also turns as well. And I wonder what sort of pressure that is being brought to bear on those anchors who are fueling Trump. I wonder if there's going to be a turnaround there after a word from Murdoch to the Fox executives. Because this, I think, as I said, the forces are greater than Donald Trump. This is endings. I think the government shutdown will end, and Trump will lose on this one. It's just he's in an untenable and desperate position, and it's just not a sound strategy. It's not going to work for him. So I hope you enjoyed that reading. Let's wait and see if this comes to pass, if there's a compromise deal to be had, and the government opens up again. Thank you, viewers.